All right, this is Carriage Council this afternoon, and we are sitting down with Mrs. Hall, and we have our president, Colton, and our vice president, Rain, here, and we have some questions for Miss Hall about our new service learning project.
Yeah, so we would just like to know what prompted you to do the shoe drive for Roatan.
Well, my husband and I visit Roatan 3 to 4 times a year. Beautiful island, and when we're there, we talk to the locals, and we meet the locals there, and they're super friendly. And of course, I like to talk to the kids. And we've gone there often and talked to them, and they're really hardworking people. And the average wage that they make a day is $15, not $15 an hour, $15 a day.
Okay.
So even though it's a beautiful island, it's a third world country, which means that the locals live many people to a house. Their houses are tin and that kind of thing. And so they have very few schools on the island, and I asked what I could bring to them for the school children. I thought, oh sure, I'll just take school supplies, right? And they would prefer shoes because they really want to go to school, but they're not allowed to go to school unless they can have shoes. It's an island, so shoes are very expensive because they have to export them in, and there's only one like Goodwill thrift store on the island. And so if the kids don't have shoes, they don't get to go to school.
That's sad.
It is sad. And so that's what they suggested. They would really like shoes, so they can be gently used and that kind of thing, but they are super excited about getting shoes so that they can go to school. If they don't go to school, they usually are working. And when I say they're working, I'm talking about 6, 7, and 8-year-olds on the beach trying to sell bracelets and things like that to help pay for their food and that kind of thing. So it's cool.
What was it like in Roatan, like the environment?
Well, the environment's beautiful. It's a tourist island, okay? It's a second largest barrier reef. A barrier reef means there's a reef all the way around the island, so the island is protected. Scuba diving is very big there. They take 2 or 3 cruise ships a day, so they get a lot of tourists there. But it's not like they come and they leave, right? But the locals have to stay. So it's a beautiful environment, really, really nice people. There's a lot of Americans that live there and a lot of Canadians that live there that have moved there and stay, and they do a lot of volunteer work. A lot of churches go for missions and that kind of thing. And it's just sad that the locals, they live in small barrios and they just don't make very much money, so they're just trying to survive when all these other people are coming and they're just tourists. So.
What are the living conditions like in Roatan?
Living conditions, so the island's about 31 feet or kilometers long, okay? And it's like got lots of area to it, but most of the locals, the people we're talking about, live in very small towns or barrios. Like there's like 3 of them, and their houses are cinder block or tin. They don't have running water. They don't have electricity in those houses. They live many family members to a house. So, you're not just talking about one mom and dad and a couple of kids. There's usually several families that live in the same house. They live right on top of each other. Like there's house after house after house. And so the living conditions are pretty poor for the locals.
What were your experiences on the island like?
Every experience I've had there is fantastic. It's a real safe place. I really enjoyed, like even the barrios where there's so many people and locals. There's some islands that my husband and I travel a lot. So there's some islands we've been to that we don't feel very safe. We love Roatan. That's why we go so often and why we actually talk to all the locals.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us that helps us understand why we're participating in this service project?
Yeah, I feel like it's a really worthy cause. There's a lot of people on the island. There's a lot of kids that don't get to go to school, and they really want to go to school. And without the shoes, they can't. So if we can do something, I can take coloring books and I can take paper and I can take all those things, but that's not what they really need. The more kids that go to school, the more opportunities they have, and the less chance they'll be as far in poverty as they are. If they can learn and get a good education, they might be able to get a better job.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hall, for giving us the information about this service project, and we look forward to collecting a ton of shoes, and we can collect shoes or monetary donations. And please speak with Ms. Hall throughout this process and get more information as you learn more about Roatan.